Okay, I was going to take this a lot more slowly, and I was going to make a lot of other videos before this one. I'm not going to make this as a recording where I do any pauses, or in other words, you'll hear a lot of pauses. I'm not going to cut them out. I don't have the time or the equipment to do that right now. So I'll start off by just saying, well, this is going to be raw, but it's too important to just hold on to. As every hour goes by, let alone every day, if I don't get this information out to as many real people out there who are capable of listening, even if they're not able to understand everything all at once, or the implications of everything I'm about to tell you. If you hang on to this and come back to this whenever, in a month's time, a year's time, 10 years' time, could be 30 years' time, if you come back to this, this may not only ring true, but it may settle in a way. It may jog something in you where you shift your vision slightly and everything falls into place. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I have some of them. And I want to share essentially my homework with you so that you can see what way I've done what I'm doing and where I'm going. And it's going to be useful to you at some stage for something, because this is of ultimate importance. Okay, so for a primer, look up the word transliteration. It's a technical term. It's very much associated with translation, but it means essentially flipping letters, swapping letters from one language to another. Here's a really good example. Pater is the Latin for father. In Dutch, it's Vader, right? So you just change the P for a V. In German, it's Vater. So you just get rid of the H. It's the same word, right? You're just changing letters. Now, what this is it's a code page change. For anyone who knows computers, it's just using a different encoding scheme, like ANSI or ASCII or something, you know? It's the same words, but just using interchangeable symbols. And what you got to understand is that words are made of letters. What are letters? They're symbols. Words are just groups of symbols together. When you take them in a certain context or maybe in a certain order, they give you a meaning. Now, there's many meanings and of everything, and they can all be simultaneously true. They don't contradict each other. They corroborate each other. So when you take, when somebody says to you, oh, that thing that you think means that, it also means this. A lot of people are very unreceptive to that because they think what you're trying to do is take away what they have and replace it with something inferior. No. And what I'm trying to do here, and this is going to need maybe a longer preamble, but please just give me the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to make another longer video that'll preamble all this and explain the whys and wherefores, but I'm asking you for a little bit of faith here. Not because I'm God or Jesus. I just want to give me a little tiny portion of that. And if I haven't steered you wrong before, even if you don't fully 100% trust me, what you don't know can sometimes harm you, but if you do know something, you can choose to reject it. All right, so I'll leave that as a little preamble for here. If you take one meaning and another meaning and another meaning, you add them all together, they supplement each other. They don't contradict each other. So I have an analogy, and I believe it's of supreme importance because it's not just an analogy. It's both a literal and a metaphorical description of what reality is. Now, people from the Bible might accept the phrase, we're looking at everything through a glass darkly. We are looking at something through a glass. That's the screen. That's the 2D representation, right? There's either or. There's yes, no. There's blue, red. There's progressive, there's regressive, and all this other stuff, right? That's just two sides of the mirror. The mirror has two faces, but what has many more than just two faces? A gemstone or a diamond. I don't know how many faces they have, and I don't think there's a set amount. Could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. I don't know how many. And I think there's gems with lots of different faces. Facets. So facets are different ways of looking through the same thing or at the same thing. So this is why when you're standing from a different perspective, looking through a different facet, what you perceive as reality might be different to what somebody else perceives as reality. And I'm here to tell you that all of those perceptions, all of those interpretations of the same reality are both valid and invalid, because they're not a complete representation of the picture. And it's only by working together that we can all understand what it is we're looking at, by sharing our experiences, not arguing over who's right, but by sharing and pooling our knowledge together. Right? So it's not a competition to say, oh, what he says over there is wrong. If every single person is real, in other words, somebody who's genuine, right? And by the way, that word real means a whole load of things, and I'll explain that another time. But if we all add together what we know, then we get a fuller, more rounded completion of the picture. I'll go back to everything, right? Everything that you see in the world is a symbol, right? And I'll get back into that. I'll segue back into that by saying, remember what I said? Vader, Father, Father, Peter, right? So Peter is the rock, okay? To be petrified as the rock. Peter is Pater, is Vader, is Father, right? So God the Father is Peter the rock, right? So you got to stand on something solid, all right? And if you're not, when people say, are you sitting down? Because they want you to have your feet on solid ground, because what they might be about to tell you could shake you, they might shake your terra firma, right? The firm ground that you think you're standing on. But the trick is, don't be afraid. When somebody is coming to you in a genuine, honest spirit with good intentions, you'll learn to recognize those people. And if you don't, maybe it just requires a little bit of faith. Well, everything, even the most tiny, insignificant things that you think are just nothing, just like old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Right, now that means many things on many different levels. But the E-I-E-I-O is telling you on one level, play with these letters, swap them around. Okay? See if you just change one letter for one more, does the meaning become clear? Does something get unlocked? And it will. But there's another meaning to that too. There's a literal meaning and metaphorical meaning. So the literal meaning is the letters, right? But there's a metaphor, right? An outside of the form meaning. Okay, so that's also true, because you're just standing from a different perspective. And then there's a figurative meaning. Okay, so that's something that describes the figure. So the figure, the form, that's something. So I have a shape, I have a name, and then the name has letters. All of those things are ways of describing me. But no one of those things is me. They're just ways of describing me. So what is a letter? A letter is a symbol. That's what it is. You think it's just a letter. Do you know what letter means? To earth. Just like terra firma is strong earth, right? Or solid earth, if you like. Letter is to earth. What do you receive? As your primary introduction to earth, your first education. Here are the letters, the alpha, beta. And that's from Greek. And the Greeks didn't just get it from nowhere. They got it from the Phoenicians. Aleph, Beth. They're the first two letters of the Phoenician alphabet. And they didn't just get it from nowhere either. They got it from the Egyptians. Probably. I'm not 100% sure on that. And the Egyptians didn't just get it from nowhere either. Maybe they got it from the Babylonians or other people who lived in that general area, Mesopotamia, Middle East, Jordan, what we now know as Israel, Palestine. Okay, and they started all of this by writing with a stick in the ground. And as I write in the ground with a stick, you're facing me. Right? So you see what I write in the ground upside down. Or is it upside down? Maybe I'm writing it as a courtesy to you upside down so that you can see the right way up. And that's just one translation or a transliteration. So if you want to see proof of that, compare Aleph in Phoenician to Alpha in Greek. Okay. So where do I want to go from here? Okay, I have a few keys. I've made some for myself and others were given to me. So I didn't know why they wanted me to learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just like everybody else did. Okay, and then that's the basic building blocks, but they're not just basic building blocks. There's other blocks underneath them. Letters are what you write with a stick. And what happens if you get hold of the wrong end of the stick? You don't know what you're writing and you don't know what you're reading. Okay, so if I'm trying to tell you something and you get hold of the wrong end of the stick, no, I'm trying to write something in the sand. I'm holding the top end of the stick. And you need to look at the bottom of the stick. You get me? So every little phrase means something. Peter, do you hear the pitter-patter of little feet? Well, you know what that is? That's telling you that's the father of a baby. All right, so there's more. There's much more. But I just want to tell you, I am here to tell you, I've made some very crude keys. And I'm beginning to unlock the hidden meaning of the word. Now, I think maybe some of you might be thinking, okay, I'm saying I'm Neo. I'm reading the Matrix code. Yeah, that's an absolutely good metaphor for this. But I know the sin of pride. And I'm not going to fall for that. So I'm not here to tell you I'm the chosen one. I'm saying we're all God's chosen people. And I'm just a voice in the wilderness here. And I'm telling you, I don't know exactly what the bullseye is. But I know where the dartboard is. Okay, I don't know exactly what the source of the light is, but I know roughly where it's coming from. I have focused my eyes a little bit. I haven't fully focused in on what's happening, but I'm telling you what, I'm picking things out of the ether. And I think if I keep going this way, not only will I be able to, but everybody that listens to me and takes on board what I'm saying here and runs with it, you may get to different destinations. Not different destinations, it's the same destination, but you may pick up different clues along the way that I haven't managed to pick up. And you might be able to figure out things that I can't figure out on my own. And so I want to be selfless and I want to just give information freely. You use it in whatever way you want. Sorry, not in whatever way you want. You use it for your own betterment and your own salvation. But there is power in the word. And this is an introduction to it. And it's much more literal than just there's power in the word of the Bible. You need to go much deeper than that. Power in every literal word, in every letter, and decoding the symbols contained in every letter. Because something that is true proves itself, and it can prove itself once you have the key. And if anybody wants a computer analogy here, imagine if you had a computer and somebody gave you a zip file. Right? What is that? That's an encoded file full of information. It's like a suitcase that you have to unpack. And inside that is lots and lots and lots of information, all compressed and compacted. But you need to take it apart. People get afraid. They go, oh no, you can't take it apart. You're going to destroy it. No, you're not going to destroy it. You're going to understand the meaning of all of it. And then you're going to put it together in a way that makes it like a piece of software that you run. And then you see all of the images on the screen, the real images. Okay, so I'm going to leave it for there because look, I'm just going to end off with a little coda by saying there may be some people who may have agreed with some of what I said and they liked what they heard. But just because you like what you heard doesn't mean it's good, and just because you don't like what you heard doesn't mean that it's bad. You have to take the good with the bad. So the truth is something that you have to go towards. If you're committed to the truth, well, what you got to do is you have to go where it takes you. You can't just decide for yourself what the truth is. No. If you make a commitment to the truth, then you've got to go where it leads you. And I don't know all the truth. I'm just telling you that I know roughly where the dartboard is, and my aim is getting better. I don't want to tell you about it. And I'm telling you about it now because I don't think I can get to the end on my own. I think I need all of you with me.